A football legend meets an embattled president. Maradona has appeared with the Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro on a pitch in Caracas, which has seen months of political unrest. I come to give my support to Nicolás, said Maradona. We're all soldiers of Nicolás. Maradona also announced plans to host his own TV show during the 2018 World Cup with a Venezuelan channel.
¡Viva Maduro! ¡Que viva Maradona!
The US President Donald Trump has arrived in Beijing on the latest leg of his five-nation Far East tour. He'll spend 2 nights in the Chinese capital. He's expected to discuss trade and press his counterpart Xi Jinping to cut financial ties to North Korea and abide with UN sanctions. But before talks began in earnest, the pair and their wives were shown round Beijing's Forbidden City, a visit described as an unprecedented honor. The trip to China comes hours after Trump addressed the South Korean parliament, where he issued a now typically fiery warning to Pyongyang over its nuclear weapons program.
Today I hope I speak not only for our countries, but for all civilized nations, when I say to the North, do not underestimate us, and do not try us.
However, his stark language didn't go down well with hundreds of people who protested outside Parliament. They called Trump a thief and accused him of using trade to pressure South Korea into buying arms.
Thousands of Russian Communist Party members marched across downtown Moscow to mark the centenary of the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution. Russia stopped celebrating the anniversary after the 1991 collapse of the Soviet Union, but the communists continue to honor the date. We can achieve everything but under the flag of Lenin, under the flag of the October Revolution. In 1991 we were all betrayed, but we didn't give up. Foreign communists walk shoulder to shoulder with their Russian comrades and voice their support for change.
Every day we're seeing how capitalism divides societies and how it turns the most part of society into poverty. So, yes, revolution is still in today's agenda.
This idea did not absolutely get old, it's absolutely a modern one. It works. We can answer the modern questions and explain what's happening and find the answers in Marxist-Leninism. The government's reluctance to recognise the still polarising event reflects deep divisions over the revolution in Russia today. According to one of the latest polls dedicated to the 100th anniversary of the October Revolution, most Russians are for change with the help of evolution, but more than 90% of participants are against any new revolution.
Savouring the sweet taste of victory, Democrats in the US have won 2 significant polls in the first statewide elections since Donald Trump came to power. In Virginia, Ralph Northam won a bitter governorship contest defined by differences over immigration and Confederate status. The state also made history by electing its first openly transgender state legislator. The 32-year-old journalist Anitza Rome ousted a longtime pro-Trump Republican.
To every person who's ever been singled out, who's ever been stigmatized, who's ever been the misfit, who's ever been the kid in the corner, who's ever needed someone to stand up for them when they didn't have a voice of their own, because there's no one else who is with them. This one's for you.
Dancing to victory, the new governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, saw off competition from Kim Guadagno. The incumbent Republican Chris Christie's been in the post for 8 years. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio was re-elected comfortably. Analysts are taking the results as an early indication of how next year's midterm congressional elections could pan out.
It's a move that would leave the US completely isolated when it comes to the question of climate change. At UN talks in Germany, Syria has announced it plans to join the 2015 Paris Agreement on tackling global warming, leaving President Trump's administration the only one opposed to the deal. A Syrian minister told the COP23 meeting in Bonn that his country wanted to achieve international goals and reflect justice and responsibility, according to each signed member of the accord, he said. The development comes as France confirms it has not invited the US president to a climate summit in December. The current meeting in Bonn is aimed at drawing up a list of rules for the Paris Accord, including a mechanism for checking greenhouse gas emissions in individual countries.
What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now!
British Aid Minister Priti Patel's political future is in doubt over undisclosed meetings she held with Israeli officials in September. The International Development Secretary cut short a visit to Africa and has been ordered to fly back to London by Prime Minister Theresa May. Patel apologised to May on Monday for failing to report she'd met the officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, during a holiday and broke rules by straying into matters reserved for the Foreign Ministry. Further undermining May's authority, there are calls for Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson to retract remarks that jailed Iranian British aid worker Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe was teaching journalism before her arrest in Iran last year. She's serving a 5-year sentence for allegedly plotting to topple the government. May's most senior minister, Damien Green, is also under investigation after claims that pornography was found on one of his work computers. He denies any wrongdoing. And last week, close May ally Michael Fallon, the Defence Minister, was forced to resign over a growing sexual misconduct scandal.
Ever wanted to visit Egypt's pyramids but never had the chance? Well, now you can do the next best thing and go on a virtual reality tour of the inside of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Using 3D technology, the Scan Pyramids project allows visitors wearing headsets to explore the Queen's Gallery and other ancient rooms not normally accessible to the public without leaving Paris. Thanks to this technique, we can make it possible to teleport ourselves to Egypt, inside the pyramid. And what's new in the world of virtual reality is that from now on, you're not isolated, but there are several of us together. You're in a group. You can take a tour with your family. While partly designed as a fun experience, the project allows researchers to improve investigative technologies. Recently, they used the imaging method based on cosmic rays to penetrate hundreds of meters through stone. It led to the announcement earlier this month of the discovery of a mysterious space deep inside Egypt's largest and oldest pyramid. And go on a virtual reality tour of the inside of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Using 3D technology, the Scan Pyramids project allows visitors wearing headsets to explore the Queen's Gallery and other ancient rooms not normally accessible to the public without leaving Paris. Thanks to this technique, we can make it possible to teleport ourselves to Egypt, inside the pyramid. And what's new in the world of virtual reality is that from now on, you're not isolated, but there are several of us together. You're in a group. You can take a tour with your family. While partly designed as a fun experience, the project allows researchers to improve investigative technologies. Recently, they used the imaging method based on cosmic rays to penetrate hundreds of meters through stone. It led to the announcement earlier this month of the discovery of a mysterious space deep inside Egypt's largest and oldest pyramid.
Televidente, permitinos com espaço comercial e ora nos vem back nos notícias ng deportivo com o colega Carl Reuter.
The search engine to stop aqui na Lucky Cosmetic. Ya pa mas ku 5 anos sa lagabo sira conocido produto ng dirang mundo. E segredo ng di belleza. peluka, kabay, makiyahe, produkto ng pauso personal, ihopi mas. Kapsalon, barbershop, spa. Inang servisyo, top of the line.